Well, hi everyone. We're joined today by Mr. Teddy.
Yes, hi. He's gracing us with his presence because he's
Oh,
usually a little camera shy, aren't you?
I miss him.
Oh, sweet boy, my sweet boy. Hi. All right. Well, what are we talking? What are we talking? We talking?
Well, someone just had a birthday. So, my lovely friend Julie just had her birthday on Monday, November 13th. And, you know, this may shock you if you've been tuning in, but Julie and I feel a little bit differently about our birthdays. And traditionally, Julie has just shared some tough stuff that's happened on your birthday, and you don't love it. So I think that Julie is not alone. And so today I think it would be cool to just kind of hear from Julie about her birthday experiences, some of the energy surrounding her what's supposed to be her day that maybe has not been her day in the past. But I think a lot of people feel that way about their birthdays, that maybe if you're listening, maybe you love your birthday. I have several friends who like go all out for their birthdays, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's like a birthday month. It's like a birthday week. It's like
Yeah,
there's never enough birthday, and I'm like, huh. All right,
yes. But
cool.
there's also plenty of people who would rather not, don't want anyone to know it's their birthday. They themselves don't want to acknowledge their birthday. It just hasn't been a good time for them. And yeah, so I'd love to
Take
hear.
it away. Take it away. Take it
Yeah.
away. All right, let me start at the beginning. My birthday was the day after my mom's birthday. And we were 30 years apart in age. And my mom and I had what would be called a difficult relationship. One of my greatest gifts, because, she came to me once after she was dead and said, "Don't you see, had I not been me, you would not be exactly you." And I got it then. And I was like, cool. But anyway, back to the birthday. As a kid, you're a kid. You want to like talk about your birthday for a good month beforehand. It's like, oh, it's almost my birthday. It's gonna. But in my household, my dad and my mom would say to me, "Someone else has a birthday before your birthday, and that's rude to talk about your birthday because my mom's birthday is before mine." And I was like a kid, and I'm like, well, that's kind of a problem because her birthday doesn't end until mine starts. Like, exactly. And so I can never get excited about my birthday, or at least talk about being excited about my birthday. So there was that. And then there was, my mom even said one year, yeah, well, because one year I tried to bring it up to her as an adult, like in my 30s. I was like, well, it was kind of difficult to have my birthday the day after yours. And she said, "You think it was hard for you? I had to wrap your presents on my birthday." And I'm like, you chose that. You could have wrapped my presents any day. Additionally, okay, it shifted from my mom giving presents to literally she'd give you a card and she'd write in there what your gift was going to be. Your gift was to go buy yourself a new dress. And then at some point it shifted to an outfit. But there was no check in there. There was no money in there. So after you bought it, you would go back to her and have to tell her like what it cost. And then that was always like, well, how much money is the gift really? Like, how much money am I allowed to spend?
Sounds like a
And
blank check to me.
right. And then, I've been poor, I've been rich, I've been poor, I've been rich. But if I was poor, it was like, wait, I got to front the money for this. I got to front the money. And then I got to find a good time to bring it up that I actually need her to reimburse me for the gift that she gave me, but she didn't really give me. Okay. So very, very complex situation. And that was literally the last 30 years, 40 years. Yeah, it probably started when I was in my 20s. So it was like, okay, this is fun. Um, really fun. So, and then my dad was a super excellent gift giver, like to my mom, like so beyond great. Like beautiful. First of all, there were a dozen roses every year, you know, and then there was expensive perfume, expensive chocolates, maybe, you know, like some clothes, but then every holiday, a beautiful piece of jewelry. Like, I mean, good jewelry. So, you know, when you're a kid, you're like, man, this birthday shit's gonna be really great. I'm gonna be showered with love. And, you know, so never really turned out that way. And then I married someone who literally would give me the awards he won at work. Like he worked at Merrill Lynch, so a bull and a bear bookends. So that's fun. An atlas with the Merrill Lynch bull imprinted on the front of it. And I'd be like, are there fucking plane tickets in this atlas? Where are we going? Is this the gift? I remember saying one year, there better be something under a fucking sheet out in the backyard. Like, what? So I mean, it was like all these, like, what is happening? And then get into adulthood, and now I'm divorced and whatever. And now I guess it's all on my kids to do something to make it special. Well, joke's on you, because that's not happening either. And you know, how many years did I have to be like, why can't my kids, like, at the very least they could do is send me a card? I mean, literally. Not only was I not, you know, getting gifts for my kids, it was like they were giving me gifts. They were giving me gifts of abject terror and chaos. Like literally on my birthday. Like one year I wake up, I'm woken up in the morning, and like my daughter has some not good humans sleeping in her bedroom, and they've locked themselves in, and I'm like, you got to get out of the house. It's like 2 a.m. and they won't unlock the door, and I'm like, you better be jumping out of that window. I'm not going to wake up you in my house. I mean, just crazy bad, just chaos. You know, we probably had a couple overdoses on my birthday. I don't really know, but so I joked to my sisters, like, I'm changing the date of my birthday because I don't want anyone to know the day, because somebody's going to mess it up. So I'd moved beyond someone's going to be leaving me jewels and flowers and chocolates to just like, nobody fuck up. I don't want to go to the hospital today. Okay. I don't want to put out a fire today. That's all. Lower the bar. And so the bar is like, I got a shovel. Like that bar is like underground. And so then I went through like years of like, I'm gonna make my own day special. Yeah, yeah, I'm take my power back. I'm gonna schedule a massage and, you know, go buy myself something that I want because I'm special and it's my responsibility to make myself happy. And so I did that. And it was a head scratcher because I was like, yeah, it still doesn't feel so great. Like it's kind of empty. And so I've come to, after much, so this year was okay. Nothing bad happened. Literally, like my sister's, okay, how's it going? Anything happen? I'm like, no, no, it's 5:30 p.m. They're like, all right, clock's ticking. I think you're gonna make it through the whole. I'm like, I know, right? It's pretty good. So like everybody knows this now. And I wonder what's wrong with me. Why am I not getting more joy out of things? Why is this day like this? And came to my aha moment that I discussed, which, and this is where it gets a little, you know, well, we're on brand. I'm like, I think there's this awareness that when I was, quote, coming into earth as a consciousness, like I imagine like my angelic teams up there, like, you can do it, man. It's going to be great on earth. There's really good food and there's sex and like it's a beautiful planet. And I was like, oh yeah, all right, man, I got this. And I took a body on my birthday, and then life kind of, I was like, oh wait, I actually didn't really know it was going to be this. And it feels like something's missing, and it feels like there's should be more to all of this, but it's not really about the birthday. It's about the disconnect from the whole fullest expression of the celebration of life. And so, yeah, so that's it. It's my birthday.
I think you're so spot on with that, and maybe we can apply what you shared about your birthday. And if you don't enjoy your birthday, if you're listening, kind of dig into that a little bit. What is that about for you? Maybe it is a some bad experiences, bad memories. Um, but I think a lot of people feel that kind of depression around holidays and big events that are supposed to be fill in the blank, whatever you think it's supposed to be.
Right.
And I think what that does is it shines a spotlight on what you were speaking to of like there's something missing here, and I don't really know how to get it or get back to it.
Totally.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about just the holidays are coming up.
Right. And what are people's expectations, or what are you dreading, or what are you most excited about? Do you feel anticipatory anxiety around the holidays, or are you someone who just like loves it all? You love the gifts and the bows and the decoration, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's great, but I do think there's a different pocket of the population that is like, somehow I think it's supposed to be bigger than this, or better than this, or richer than this, or deeper than this. And then you wonder, you start judging yourself like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I just be someone who's like fa la lying during this whole time?
Yeah, why can't I just enjoy what everyone else seems to be enjoying? And some people are truly enjoying it, others are pretending to enjoy it. And I think about if we go back to kind of what you were speaking to, it's like if we Julie and I's perspective is that, I think of source, I think of God as kind of like the ocean. And I was just sharing this with someone the other day. Each drop of the ocean contains the entire ocean within it, but each drop is in itself not the ocean. So if we think of source or God like that ocean, and we are drops in the ocean of God, we embody the fullness of source. And when we choose to come into this realm, we're separated from our ocean. We're no longer in the ocean. We're individual drops having our separate explorations and experiences.
We're of the ocean, right? We're of the ocean, but we're no longer in the ocean.
Absolutely, that's a great way to say it. So while we're out here exploring, again, there's nothing wrong with this realm. We've chosen to be here. It's beautiful. There's so many experiences to have. And we're constantly feeling the pull for home. We're constantly feeling the pull for that ocean, to be reunited with source, to be reunited with God. And there's that interesting like yin and yang energy within us, which yin is the more feminine, yang is the more masculine. And the masculine energy that we embody is evolution. And I'm getting a lot of this from the Gene Keys, and particularly the second Gene Key by Richard Rudd, if you're interested. But the yang energy is what's pushing us forward. It's the energy that pushes us to separate from the ocean and explore and learn and grow and change and evolve. And then the yin and energy of the feminine is the void, the void of all that is. And so these energies are constantly working together within ourselves.
Well, and another way of explaining it too that I think might help people, I think of it as God, source, whatever, the out breath, right? That's the going out, exploring, striving, evolving, creating. And then God's in breath, right? Is reuniting and flowing back into the all. So that out breath, in breath, out breath, in breath.
I love it. And we need both, obviously, for
Right.
life.
Yep.
So I think if we can kind of recognize, and in the Christian tradition, that's called Echoes of Eden. There's actually a book by a man named Jerram Bars, who I had the honor of hearing speak and meet. He wrote a book called Echoes of Eden, and his whole exploration is how every creative endeavor that we take on or that we produce is an attempt to recapture Eden, and Eden being a reference to the biblical story of Adam and Eve in the perfect garden, right? Where they were in perfect unity with God. And then that separation happens.
And even to bring it so, as above, so below, let's go there with it. When I was, quote, in utero, I'm in the waters, right? I'm in my mother's waters. And then that disconnect on the day of my birth, on the literal day of my birth, I am separated from source. I am separated from source as my mother was my source. And so that day, while it was an exciting day, there's encoded within me that that was a day of separation. That was a day that I experienced a disconnect from source. And, that is what I think all these years, and then to have it so highlighted with my mom then being a source that was of so much confusion and disconnect and pain. It just left me so confused about the whole day.
Yeah, so I think that kind of ingrained or programmed sense of melancholy, for me, it's just kind of a melancholy. Even, and I love my birthday. My husband makes it birthday week. He gives me a little present every day leading up to
Aww,
birthday. I know, it's very sweet.
that's so sweet.
Yeah, like completely unprompted. Like I'm not a huge, I'm kind of right in between. I'm not like everyone, it's my birthday month, but I'm also not like, oh, I hate my birthday. So I tend to throw my own birthday parties every year just because I like to have people around me, and yeah, I enjoy it. And also there's still that undercurrent of melancholy. It's just kind of like, huh, you know, that there is a sense of some deep longing for something that cannot be fulfilled.
It can't, because I then my second husband, you went to the fancy dinners and I got the good gifts, and all and it was like, yeah, no, this isn't it either. This isn't it either. And so that, nope, this isn't it. And so then when people are like, oh, you should do something special on your birthday, like I've been there, done that, and then I tried to create it for myself. And it was like, why don't you just allow it to be what it is? How about that? How about it's okay that it's not a day that I personally wanna, get a dinner reservation and have a bunch of people. It's like it's okay that it's exactly what it is, and it's interesting to see how that actually makes other people uncomfortable, and they don't even understand. It's almost like, why are you choosing to not be happy on your birthday? It's like, hey, I'm happy. I'm a happy person. But somehow it feels now like I am dishonoring myself by, let's put on a happy face. And it's not like I want to sit around and cry and feel sorry for myself. But the truth of the matter is, historically, it's not been my favorite day. It's just not been my favorite day. And people are like, oh, we're going to change that this year. Or people are like, well, I know you don't like to celebrate your birthday, and it's like, it's not about that. Like, I can't even explain it, but somehow, well, we did explain it. I think we've explained it well. And it's just going to be what it's going to be. And I'm okay with that. But it's like all the people that are calling beforehand, that are like, well, what are you going to do? What are you going to do for your birthday? What are your birthday plans this year? And it's like, I don't know. It feels like a lot of fucking pressure.
Yeah. And as I've gotten a little bit older and I have met other friends who have a similar approach to life, for me, it's just become like, what is the epitome of a Claire day? And I do that. And it usually looks like reading somewhere cozy and comfy, sipping on something delicious, probably drinking wine, probably eating red meat, and surrounded by my friends and loved ones, probably a bath in there, maybe a massage. So it's become me just, and I do feel like I treat myself damn near every day, but it kind of frees me. It's like, okay, but today I'm really allowed to. you know.
Oh,
And I don't know if there's any spiritual practices that you would want to share, but I'll share one that I have enjoyed. So on my birthday, I'll usually, I kind of mentally approach my birthday as my own new year. So I do a full card spread for my year, much in the same way that I would do for the calendar new year. And I really enjoy that just because, I mean, obviously it's fun. I love pulling cards, but it also allows me to just tune in, where's my year going? What are some things? I like to do some journaling. You know, I can reflect on the past year. I look forward to the following year. Sometimes it just depends on what comes through. Sometimes a mantra will come through for my year, which is just kind of like an encouragement for me, and I'll like write it down or post it somewhere around the house. Um, but coming to my birthday with reverence and ceremony that makes sense to my heart, not the ceremony that others want to do for me, or that society says this is what you do on your birthday, or this is what you do at Thanksgiving or Christmas. And so I just wonder, and it's very different when you're working with family members and friends. You can't just bust into your family Christmas and be like, I think we should do a different ceremony this year. But I think we as humans love ceremony because it is so deeply ingrained with where we've come from and our connection to ancestors and our roots and all of that. So for me, asking myself, okay, what's going to feel intentional? What's going to help me connect to my heart today? And then just seeing where that takes me. It's been way more fulfilling than like, in my 20s, it was like, all right, we're all pre-gaming at 9, and then we're gonna pop to the club at 11, and whatever.
well,
That
and
one.
yeah, I would say, yeah, that is beautiful. And I actually did cards myself this year, so I'm syncing with you. But I want to put this out because I think there are people who don't like ceremony. I think ceremony feels too intimate. It makes them uncomfortable. So it's like we have come to a place where we enjoy ceremony. And some people, no, that's just it's too real, it's too deep. What I do think humans, I think more universally, find ourselves uh, feeling tethered or rooted. So you're either tethered or you're rooted in traditions. And so either those traditions that are birthdays and holidays feel like a little these entanglements or a noose around your neck, or they're really like they root you, they ground you, they bring you a sense of, oh yeah, here it is again. And so I think that would also be an interesting thing to think about. What are your traditions? What have they been? And how do you feel about them? What of those traditions would you like to continue to carry forward into your life? And what of those traditions you're like, you know what? I don't know that this one ever actually served me? And what would it feel like to sort of disentangle from those traditions? So that's just a different perspective. Because I know you and we like to do a lot of the same things. And I guess I'm just offering that as like a dip your toe in the water of exploring the holidays in a different way of like, what are the foods we always ate? What time do we do that? Just the basics. Do you want to put up a tree? Do you want to like, do you want to send out Christmas cards? Are you going to eat the same meal that you've always eaten since you were a kid? And if so, if you do, and you're like, fuck yeah, I love that. But if you're like, I'm so over whatever it is, prime rib, like that kind of stuff. Anyway, blah, 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 blah.
I really like that tethered versus rooted. That's very helpful to think about because it's a
Yeah,
similar energy. It's a similar movement. I keep doing this because it's like grounding you, or it could be a anchor around your neck. Yeah.
right, right. So think about it because whatever Thanksgiving's coming up. And I remember the first year I got divorced and I had all my kids. I'm going to throw this in real fast because it's, I think, a good story. And I knew, okay, their dad was gone and, whatever. And I was like, I'm not going to try and recreate what we just came from, even though it worked when it worked. I mean, we made cinnamon rolls and this breakfast casserole after we opened gifts. I mean, it was just the thing. We had our thing. And then all of a sudden we were not a family of five. We were a family of four. And I'm like, what am I gonna? And I said to the kids, guys, I know this is gonna be tough, but we're not gonna do what we've always done because it's not gonna feel the same. And so what do we want to do differently? Well, the first thing for Thanksgiving that year, I said, we're not doing turkey. So everybody decide what your favorite food is. I don't even care if it all goes together. And you tell me, I'll buy the ingredients, we'll make it. And so we had this hodgepodge meal because, whatever. It was like, I remember somebody wanted tenderloin. It was like, okay, cool. And then, somebody wanted, it was just a random meal, but it was like, okay. And then on Christmas, instead of doing our Christmas breakfast that, dad would make the pancakes, blah, 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 we went to a Chinese restaurant. And so we're like, let's go to Chinese because Chinese places are open. So we opened presents and went to this Chinese restaurant that hysterically was closed, but they left the door unlocked. And so we are Christmas morning running around a Chinese restaurant in their kitchen, playing with the big dragons. These were our holiday pictures running around a Chinese restaurant that was actually not even locked their doors. It was like the most memorable Christmas morning we ever had because I was just like, let's not try and recreate it because it's not going to work. So, I mean, it was fun. So I don't know if you can try to decide what works and what doesn't and see what shows up because it was fun.
I love that. Approach it with a sense of adventure and be open to something different and see what magic might unfold. Who knows?
Yep. Yep. So,
Well, happiest of birthdays, my friend. I love you.
thank you. I love
So
you.
glad you were born.
Thank you. I'm glad I was born too. I think most days.
Most days.
Most days. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And as a friend of mine likes to say, onward through the fog.
Yes. And happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Yes, yes, yes. Lots to be grateful for. Lots to be grateful for. So, all right. Thank you. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.